conversation with my friend the other day about which season is the absolute best season, and by far I think that it is the fall. And not just because of the pumpkin spice lattes or the weather cooling down, but because it's freaking Joshua Tree season. So this weekend, a group of us drove from LA all the way to Joshua Tree to do a little bit of outdoor bouldering. Throughout the summertime, we've gone to Horse Flats, Pine Mountain, Black Mountain. For a lot of us, this would actually be our first time bouldering in Joshua Tree. The first climb that we hopped on was called Caveman Finish, which is a V3 on an overhung boulder. The tricky part of this climb is honestly the start because of the way the pinches are shaped. They're a bit thin, so it kind of feels like you're crab clawing at something. And on Mountain Project, it says that the end of this climb is on any high point. Personally, I was looking for a warm-up boulder that didn't require any pumpy, overhang type of climbing, but my friends really wanted to hop on, and in the end we did have a good time. After Caveman Finish, we did head on over to the Falls Waco Boulder, but before we get there, I have to introduce you to my friends.
Koji. Dominic.
Heidi.
There, from the fifth start. Harrison. Tommy. Wet fire.
JD.
3, 2, 1.
Sarah.
Harrison, motherfucker.
And that's me, Faith. Alright, now that we got introductions out of the way, let's take a look at the Falls Waco Boulder, which starts on 2 good underclings. I'm currently trying the V1 variation, which goes straight up, but there's also a traverse that goes to the right. After I stick the move with my right hand in the Waco, the crux of this boulder is sticking the side pull. Because the side pull is pushing my body to the left side, I need to put pressure on my right foot in order to counteract this. On this move, I did lose my right foot, which caused me to slide down the side pull instead of stick it. Alright, let's take a look at what my friend Heidi did. She was actually one of 2 people in our group that was able to send this problem. Let's take a look at the way Heidi sets up for the side pull that's coming up. Briefly cuts feet, but immediately places her right foot back on. Sets up the right foot and then sticks the side pull. And then finishes the climb using a beautiful knee bar and tops out. Yeah. Beautiful, Heidi. Beautiful. Come on. Dang, keep on trying to get in the Joshua Tree vlog. So some of you all may have noticed that when Heidi stuck the side pull, she actually cut feet, which is the same thing that I did on my attempt too. So how come I fell and Heidi didn't? Let's take a look at what we both did side by side. Alright, Heidi goes up for the side pull, keeps her left foot on. As I go up to the same side pull, notice how much lower my left foot actually is. For both Heidi and I, the side pull is pulling our body to the left side. But the key difference is that Heidi's foot acts as a counter pressure, allowing her to stay on the side pull. When I was climbing this, I noticed that every time I hit the side pull, it felt like I was literally sliding straight down the rock. And that's because I actually was. Without my left or right foot to add any counter pressure, I was essentially treating the side pull as if it was a horizontal crimp. So the key takeaway here is that when you're using a side pull that moves your body to the left, you need to apply counter pressure to the right, and vice versa. Come on, foot.
Oh! There you go. Stand up on it. We got you. Trust it.
After Falls Waco, we headed on over to Bulge Master, which is a V2. We were heading over here, I actually heard a group of climbers talking about how doable the Bulge Master seemed because it had such good jugs and even the crimps were pretty good. One of the unique things about outdoor climbing is that everything is not quite as easy as it may look. The crux move is the part where I'm at right now, where people rock over with their left foot onto a mantle. I was trying to avoid the mantle move because I am coming off of an injury, specifically dislocating my shoulder, so a right move mantle wasn't going to be it for me today. But luckily for us, Dominic does not have a messed up right shoulder, so he's able to show us what this climb looks like with the mantle move. Come on.
There you go. Come on.
Come on.
More of like a... Oh, there you go. Locked in. Locked in with that hand. You're good. I got you.
It was like pancake.
A lot like pancake. That palm to it. It's getting hot. Sheesh.
My other friends also worked the mantle move with Dom. The key part was getting their left hand far and then pressing up with their right hand. But everything in climbing is easier said than done.
Solid.
Oh!
Okay, story time. The first time I ever tried a bat hang was indoors at the gym on an overhung section. I took a photo, it was really cool, I thought I was stable, and then I fell on my neck and got whiplash. Needless to say, I really don't like bat hangs, and I even tried to do this problem by doing a big move from the really bad crimps at the start, but realized that that wasn't a good option.
Yeah.
I really wish I could tell you all that I really stuck to it and tried this bat hang as many times as I could, but I didn't. I decided that whiplash wasn't worth it again, and I spent the rest of our time at this boulder watching my friends try hard while eating some black sesame butter that Heidi actually created with rice crackers.
On cramps.
It's just so sketch because your head is like
Yeah,
right on the rock.
for sure.
Yeah. This is a 2.
Hi, Toby.
Yeah. Yank on my legs. I don't care if it hurts.
What?
Go. Ah!
So this is the Hobbit hole boulder. It's pretty easy to identify because of the 5-inch off-width crack. I'm pretty sure there was a TikTok or a reel that went viral recently of people also climbing out of the Hobbit hole boulder, and we were kind of recreating that for ourselves. Anyways, let's talk about this 5-inch off-width crack. I have yet to learn how to crack climb because honestly one of my greatest climbing fears is getting stuck in a crack just like this one. But even though I don't know how to crack climb yet, I do really appreciate the aesthetics of this boulder because it's kind of insane to me how straight and clean this line actually was. It kind of looked like someone took a knife and sliced this boulder in half. Come on!
Hold it. Come on, dude. Let's go. Come on. Yeah. Come on, dude. Super strong.
Come on, Dom.
Hold it.
Come on, Dom.
You rotating your whole body in there? Yeah, just start getting that butt cheek in there, bro. Just turn, get that butt cheek in there.
Butt cheek jam. Come on.
Nice job, Dom.
Early.
Heidi, great spot. At around 4 o'clock, we were all pretty tired and hungry at this point and planning to wrap up our trip. But I wanted to take a look at one more boulder before we left. White Rastafarian, which is a highball v2. My fingers were feeling really raw and I told myself I would not in no circumstance try it.
Where are we?
We're nervous.
Oh, we're nervous? Where are we? We're nervous?
Where are we emotionally?
Where
are we physically?
We're at Right Rasta, which is a v2,
We've had this one.
which I will try. Yeah, definitely not trying it.
I know that's a fact, but how to...
Okay, so maybe I couldn't resist myself. When I started out outdoor bouldering, my first V0 was actually a highball boulder in the buttermilks. Even though highballs are a bit of a topic of debate, it's always been something that I've been drawn to. Whether it's the rush of adrenaline while climbing it or the feeling of relief when you're done with the boulder, I think there's something so beautiful about fully trusting your capacity to climb something. In my own climbing, it's the closest that I've ever felt to feeling balanced physically and mentally. And I think part of highball bouldering requires you to know when your limits are also. And unfortunately today, I did reach that limit. When I was climbing White Rasta, I didn't feel as calm and collected as I usually would like to. I was hyper aware of the pain that I felt in my fingers and my feet felt slippery. I am someone who does believe in a spiritual connection to the outdoors and to the boulders that I do climb. I truly don't feel like climbing is supposed to be about someone just conquering a boulder. It's about the relationship that we cultivate with that boulder, the time we spend there, and sometimes the heartaches that it may cause us.
It felt really good just to try it from the jug. Then I'm going to try it again and try to get to the crimps. So, it was scary.
I tried White Rasta one more time and was intentional about focusing on my technique. I wanted to focus on the feeling of climbing smoothly up the rock, being intentional with my handhold so I wouldn't have to readjust, or my footwork. I didn't want to come into this with any expectations, especially on this second attempt, because I wanted to focus on my fear management. After spending a good amount of time on the jug and shaking out, I decided that today would not be the day that I sent White Rasta. I wanted to preserve the experience that I had with this boulder and made sure that I was doing this climb because I genuinely wanted to, not just because a group of people was watching. I also wanted this climb to just be a fun and joyful experience rather than being something that I was just scared of the entire way up. At the end of our trip, we had the privilege to witness some really beautiful sunsets. It put into perspective and reminded me why I started climbing in the first place. Not just to send or even make progress on my projects, but to cultivate a closer relationship to nature and the outdoors, and also all the people that I get to experience this with. My first trip to Joshua Tree was so beautiful, and it's just the start of the season.